everyone, Eric Watson here, freelance writer, player of games, writer of words, recorder of videos, and a tabletop role-playing aficionado. Welcome to the Monday edition of Bio weekly behind-the-scenes DM-only live stream Crafting the Deep, which I build, write, and prepare for our next session of Call from the Deep. If you're playing characters Gottwald, Mock Savra, or Toro, the stream is not meant for you. It will be full of spoilers, but for the rest of you, as always, welcome. We stream our D&D sessions live on YouTube every Friday. You can join our official Discord server with invite link in the description below. If you'd like to support the channel, please check out patreon.com/RogueWatson for our campaign. We use Roll20 for streaming. I use OBS Studio. A reminder that we will not, however, be having a session, this Friday. We're taking this Friday off. I will also, unfortunately, not be able to do a crafting stream on Thursday, which means right now is the only time you're going to see me live this week. And then I'm probably going to end up taking a good chunk of next week off as well. It's T-1 week until my birthday, and I'm having to, I guess, take some time off of that. So, but I think we will be doing D&D on the 26th, oddly enough. So it's going to be kind of a Friday to Thursday thing, I guess. But stay tuned for the scheduling. I talked to patrons about it earlier today, and I'll try to remember to put up some posts on the channel for folks who don't normally watch the crafting things. But we are finally growing beyond the styes. We finished everything up last time, thankfully, which is awesome timing because, again, I'm taking the time off, which means I believe that ends our section of Ghosts of Saltmarsh. We're now going to be firmly into Call from the Deep from, I believe, here on out. But I'm adding a few things for the players to do, inspired by the open world section of Chapter 3 from Call from the Deep, even though we're going to be entering Chapter 4, which I've talked about for several crafting streams now, but just in case this is news to you, I wanted to introduce the Pirate Lords, kind of in a similar vein that I talked about with the Mind Flayer leaders, the fact that they just fought a Mind Flayer boss at the end of the Styes adventure. I like the idea of including, mini bosses and just higher ranking villains for parties to come across throughout the adventure versus just shoving everything into the final area. And actually, Call from the Deep is guilty of that twice now that I think about it, because they shove all the Pirate Lords into Tentrix's floating lair, which is a big, marquee moment for the players to take out Tentrix. And then they shove almost all of the Mind Flayer generals, the named Mind Flayers, into the final dungeon of the entire campaign. So I disagree with both of those approaches and would rather fan everybody out. So there are 4 Pirate Lords. One of them, I guess there's a 5th one, the Frost Giant, who is guarding Tentrix's floating lair, and I'm going to keep him there. But the other 4 we're going to be spreading out into different parts for the players to encounter. And one of them is going to be Captain Scummer, which is this fabulous green slod with a hat. I'm not actually sure if he is a modified green slod. I forgot to look that up. I actually do want to look that up and see who will be the first one to fight them, because I mainly couldn't figure out what other location I wanted to use. And then it would just be fun to, especially with us having a episode coming off of an adventure, a big adventure arc, and then doing a big level up, and then kind of a just explainer episode where we get the next quest arc. I think it would really work well pacing wise if at the end, towards the end of that episode, the party then had a big combat encounter, which in this case is going to be like, they're going to be told like, hey, here's the 4, main pirate lords that they should be intrinsically just wanting to take out. But if I need to give them motivation, I can introduce the fact that each one maybe has a magic compass that points the way to Tentrix's floating lair within the Lenther Isle. So they already know kind of the general location, but this helps them have a more specific item that would hopefully motivate the players to take somebody out. Although then you got to be wondering, well, then Eric, why are you just shoving one right here that they can fight immediately? I'm kind of hoping he'll be able to escape alive. I know that's always a big ask for a DM for any creature, but he does have a built-in invisibility he can cast, and he's got a pretty good chunk of hit points, and there'll be a ton of dudes here. So we'll see. Invisibility is not the same as Misty Step, though. I may have to give him an emergency DM Misty Step in case like Gottwald's grappling him, which is almost certainly going to happen. He does not have to survive. I think that's the main key of any creature you introduce to the players in combat. Always be willing to lose that playing piece. But it would just make a little more urgency to the story if he did survive and the players are like, oh shit, now we gotta go, hunt one of these, at least one of these other pirate lord captains down in order to get this MacGuffin item versus already having it, and then we can just go fight them for funsies, I guess, which I don't think it's funsies. So normal green slot does have shape changer, regeneration, magic resistance, all the same spells. This may just be a normal green slot, actually, now they look at it. 16 AC, 127 hit points. Yeah, I think it's actually just a green slot. +4 to hit with. Oh man, the hurl flame is a lot worse. It's only +4. Working like fireballs. Maybe we'll have to give you some extra things, buddy, since you're a named. I mean, obviously we could give you like max hit points or something. But maybe a Misty Step would be handy. I wonder if I should even do layer actions. We just had a big boss fight that had layer actions. So although I do want this to be a big battle, a huge tavern brawl for level 9 party with a major pirate captain lore, that's kind of the shock, because they thought, oh, this is going to be like just a, this whole session is going to be us just chatting and getting information and just kind of taking it easy. And then I'm going to be like, no, we're actually going to introduce a big combat fight here, if I can get away with it. But so far it looks like it's just a normal green slot with a hat. You can always give the pirate captain's magic items. One of them, that's literally her whole MO. The Storm Maiden, she's got a couple of magic items with her. However, any magic item I introduce to that my pirate captains are using, then I have to be willing for the party to get it as well. So that's the only tricky part. I could give him a gun and just flavor that as like a wand of magic missiles. Although Captain Callus actually literally has a gun that he just shoots, I believe, as part of his stat block. He's got a cool stat block, by the way. They did a neat thing, Call from the Deep, where they gave him 4 different stat blocks because the party is supposed to encounter him throughout their adventure. And if you notice, they have done exactly that in this campaign. They've seen him once very early on when they were making their way to Gunderlin. They saw him again when they were returning from Gunderlin and attacking Neverwinter. And now this will be the actual 3rd time they've seen him. So I'll be able to use his kind of tier 3 stat block, which is actually a CR8. So he is pretty awesome. He's got his own little pistol rapier combo. He's got Misty Step 3 times per day. And he would probably be on the party side, although a lot of this would depend on the kind of the role playing that works. He would most likely just Misty Step away, although that party may hate him for that. I don't know. We kind of play it by ear. Depending on how the role playing scene goes is how we'll use Captain Callus. But obviously he could tip the battle way in their favor. But it's not meant to be a hugely horrendously difficult battle. Scummer obviously is not on his own pirate ship. He's kind of infiltrated this, what is supposed to be neutral territory. Maybe he's paid off the bartender, which I'm tempted to turn that into the Minotaur that's mentioned in this area, Skog. There's a Minotaur named Cleft, I think. Yeah, Cleft the Minotaur, owner of the Keel Hall, which I may just name this tavern the Keel. So in the original Mintarn, I don't think there's any mention of any of this stuff. I'm just kind of saying, okay, there's a pirate-themed tavern here that I'm going to use. We can actually look up what it says for Mintarn. I think it's mostly it says about like the fact there's an ancient red dragon nearby that sleeps a lot. Mintarn. And this whole thing about Mintarn, by the way, is because the rumors and leads section just says Captain Callus mentioned the island of Mintarn is a safe port for all types, including pirates, should you need a place to dock. I'm going to very much be telling them, like, hey, this place is right here. You should go check it out. And then in doing so, they'll go to the tavern and they can meet up with Captain Callus. So it's like right across the water here. And then that will allow me to give them the next big chunk of this quest line, because the only thing they know right now is that, oh, we got to go down to the Nelenthers and somehow find Sea King Tendrix. And this gives more context to that, gives them some more goals along the way, take out these pirates. I'm really not interested in doing random encounters anymore. We can look at them, I guess, and see if there's anything higher level that's worth doing. But at this point, at level 9, I feel like we can just kind of narrate a lot of the encounters. Although, I also don't have the party automatically long rest while they travel, so things would start to cut in quite a bit. I think I mentioned also that it would probably be better pacing if they had to do all the pirate captains on one long rest, and then somehow I give them the ability to long rest before they have to go into the Nelenthers. Maybe they'll just say, hey, let's go into a more friendly port town as an offshoot, and I could just let them do that, basically, and then we can hopefully do all of this on another long rest, so it'd be better pacing. The other areas, by the way, will be the Iron Hand Cairn and Arena, both of which are dungeons that are provided in Call from the Deep, but I am probably going to have to come up with my own maps for them because the map art in OG Call from the Deep is just black and white. Not good for VTT, and the maps I'm finding, I don't think they were made for a VTT like Roll20. So I may just look at my options and see if I can whip something together using various assets in Roll20, which I'm not looking forward to. Thankfully, the first thing they'll do is the tavern. Where's Mintarn? That's what I was looking up. The tavern here in Mintarn, which I'm repurposing the tavern map I used for the Ned battle at the end of the Pirate Skyhold quest arc. If you recall, they went all the way to that floating Earth moat, fought their way through the lizard folk, and dealt with the undead pirates, talked to the Black Dragon, and then got all the information to go back down to the tavern and then find Ned was actually a surprise Deep Scion and had to fight him. So I'm just going to use that same tavern map because I think it's just still one of the better tavern maps that I could find, and that's one less map I have to freaking make. All right, so Mintarn. Hoondarth, the Red Rage of Mintarn, an ancient red dragon whom the Northlanders paid yearly tribute. Current Tyrant of Mintarn is Bloweth Emberhuin, Gladiator. He's trying to get the odds to keep Hoondarth satisfied. Dragon lives on a mountain named Skotterok that rises from the ocean to the north of Mintarn. Tributes left on a sandy beach inside a sea cave. Many more caverns spread out the Tithe Cave. Yeah, I think the main quest here is that you have to deal with that dragon at Skotterok. So there's nothing actually mentioned about like a port or anything about Mintarn itself. It's all just about this. So I'm kind of changing around what Mintarn is going to be in my campaign. I don't really see the reason to use this whole ancient red dragon thing. Other than is like their alarm system. It's like, oh shit, we're making too much noise. Although he's on a whole different island, so I guess that doesn't matter also. So yeah, no help there, unfortunately. What you all can help me with, though, is what kind of crew Scummer would have with him on his ship normally. He's only mentioned in one other place, and that is the port of Skog, as a suggested encounter with a pirate wedding, where he's there. There's the Pirate Lord, Minotaur. Oh yeah, I already looked at this area. That's the Cleft, and Callus is there apparently. Scummer has 4 thug bodyguards, is all it mentioned is thugs. There's another ship that has lizard folk, ogres, thugs. I can kind of just do whatever, like just people kind of stat blocks. The spy stat block is always pretty good. I mean, having a bunch of kind of minion level stat blocks would be good, and then Scummer himself, obviously the boss, and then probably one like, medium-sized guy for a first mate. Is probably what I'm looking for. Mintarn Tower. So that's the map we're looking at right now. That's the encounter we're trying to build. And this is a good example of a section that I will not show the players the map until combat breaks out, because I really want to lull them into a false sense of security. Callus even told you this is a neutral place. I'll tell them this is often a neutral place. I mean, it's a pirate haven, sure, but it's like the watering hole of pirates. Like, they know not to fuck around here, and everything's all just a place where people can come together and not have. I mean, there's probably fights and things, but nothing too terribly serious, or people get banned from this area, and it's kind of international waters, I guess, when it comes to why everybody's gonna be able to be here. Which means I'll also play up the fact there's a lot more I guess exotic creatures here. Like, it could be orcs and lizard folk, goblins, maybe even an ogre. And then that will also lull the players into a false sense of security, because I'm just saying all these, folks are here. And in fact, a large chunk of them will be with Captain Scummer. I'm thinking maybe the bartender, like some of the staff, were threatened, blackmailed, in order for them to kind of launch this ambush attack and have nobody say anything. And the reason I can get away with this is because, thanks to Morgan Lumpy for pointing this out last time, is that Brain Slods have the Shape Changer trait. So obviously he would be very recognizable, but he can, use an action to polymorph into a small or medium humanoid. So it'll just be looking like another dude, drinking at the tavern until he reveals himself. It does have a once per day fireball, but this is not a great map to use fireball because probably going to be surrounded by his own dudes. But maybe that'll be a good excuse of where I can launch the fireball as a surprise attack, not show the map yet, do a little DM cheatery, and then show the map after they've taken damage from the fireball, and maybe they'll start wondering, like, wait a minute, these guys were real close to it, and I'll be like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. But what should he have as part of his crew? Obviously, he can't fit his whole crew in this tavern, and that's part of the thing. Is his idea is to just be here. Maybe he was stationed here for a while. Reports say the party was in the area, and he was told to sit here, for a couple days just to see if they ever made it here, and then to launch the attack and make sure they don't leave alive. So he would try to have, as much of his fighting force as he could here, but maybe he knows that he would be very recognizable, so he can't bring like this army, in other words, to take out the party. So that might be something the party would be, that would be their one advantage, is like, even though they're going to be surprise round against, unless they have some way of looking, I don't think they have any kind of true sight or something. I'd have to check that because that would kind of fuck up my plans. But on the other hand, it won't be a huge fighting force. So obviously the thug stat block is pretty classic. Minion, upgraded minion, CR 1/2, AC of 11, 30 hit points, makes 2 attacks, and has pack tactics. That's very good. Perhaps we could do an ogre or a minotaur. I like the idea of having a minotaur bartender though, so I may keep that. I'm sure Gottwald will want to talk to him, and maybe he knows Gottwald. Let's see, creatures, see what else in here. Bugbears could work out pretty well, actually. Bugbear's a CR1. I don't see pirates wielding shields too much. They also only have 1 attack, although the surprise attack is nasty. And this would be a surprise attack, but that only works if they're in melee also. But, we're not looking for anything too fancy. Anything that's probably CR2 or lower could be used as minions. Not too many different kinds of minions. I don't need to make it hugely complicated. Bandit Captain's too strong for a minion, but could be a decent one for his first mate. I like the idea of a wereshark, though. I thought that'd be pretty fun. This is the stat block from Call from the Deep. There is a wereshark apparently in one of the Tome of Beasts, I believe, that's a little stronger than this. This guy's got 58 hit points, AC of 11 in humanoid form, but 12 in shark or hybrid form. I do hate that Shape Changer is a action. I think that's horrifying. It needs to be a bonus action for everybody. Everybody needs to be a Circle of the Moon druid. So you can do the classic like shift and then attack thing. Or what it will end up happening is during the surprise round, then the wereshark or sharks, if I use multiple, would shift as part of their surprise round, I guess. Oh, the grung. The only thing I can't use, I can't use grung, because Raymond as a player would be so distracted, even though it's a different character. He could even make the excuse that like he's literally playing George's brother. Like maybe George wrote to him or something and told him about the dangers of grung, and yeah, it would throw the whole thing off. If I want to purposely distract Mac in a future encounter, then grung would be fabulous. Maybe use them once they get to the actual pirate stronghold or something. I think Berserker's a weird stat block. They have a lot of hit points, but they only have 1 attack. And Reckless is kind of a trap, considering they get a lot more attacks against them than they can do. Bandits are probably too weak. Assassin too strong. I don't think I need any wizard. I could do the deck wizard, but we've already got... Scummer can cast a few spells. I guess once he casts Fireball, he doesn't have much. He does have Fear, which is actually a fantastic spell. Fantastic. But the cone attack could be difficult to not get his own dudes in, and that would be really devastating to fear your own people. Because it is friendly fire, unfortunately. But yeah, fear is fucking great. I don't like that his hurl flame is weaker than his other abilities, though. That's a bummer. At least he can do it twice. What else? What else? What else? So I like the Wershark idea. Thugs we can use. Orcs. I threw a bunch of tokens on here just to see what folks were thinking. I haven't fought orcs at all in this campaign. I don't know if we fought them at all last campaign either. Also CR 1/2, but they have half the hit points of Thug. Poor orc. They also only have one action. How is this the same fucking CR level as a Thug? Somebody explain this to me. Where's a Thug again? Thug is CR half, right? Yeah, how does this make any sense to anybody? Shit, where's that? Keep putting these. Did I close the orc? Damn it. There you are. Alright, so there's the orc. There's the Thug. Both of these are supposed to be the same strength creatures. The Thug has 30 hit points and 2 attacks with a +4 each. And pack tactics often gives advantage. The orc has half the hit points, slightly better AC, but only has 1 attack. I guess it does do a lot more damage with the Great Axe if it hits. With a +5, and then aggressive allows him to move up to his speed, but I don't know. I feel like the orc's not a very exciting stat block to use, but I might be able to throw them in there. Thug is definitely a good one to have. You could also just have... you could also have thugs and just use the... or orcs and use the thug stat block, I realized. I could use whatever like token I wanted to. And just change the weapon. Maybe give them javelins if they need javelins. I feel like every creature, it's almost humorous now that every like strength-based creature just carries around javelins for the one time that they can't get into melee. It's like, well, I'll just hurl my endless supply of javelins, I guess. I put the goblin boss on there because I think goblins are probably not going to be that much of a threat here, but goblin boss maybe a slight annoying threat because I got multi-attack, and I don't know how useful Nimble Escape will be here, though. Ogre could be a big guy, sitting alone, join the fight. The other thing is I could have neutral people that just join the fight, too, for whatever reason. 59 hit points. Can do a lot of damage with the +6 attack. Haven't fought an ogre. So what counts as... oh, and the other weird thing is they didn't do this as a multi-layered token, unfortunately, with Captain Scummer. So they didn't... I guess Roll20 didn't see it, the Shape Changer trait or anything. So I'll have to... I don't know if I want to just lazily throw another token on there and just throw this one on there or actually do the Shape Change thing, but... because either way, I guess the slot actually grows larger. Which I didn't realize slots were that big. Is that really the case? Yeah, they are large. Woo, whoa, what is his max hit points? Can actually be really 15d10, that's 150 plus 45 is 195. So a max green slot could have almost 200 hit points. That's one way I get him to survive. Golly. That's pretty nuts. Generation, pretty good. And magic resistance. Now, he could be banished by Toril. I feel like Toril Reese might have felt the sting of doing the banishment last time, though, because he did it so early in the fight to take down a creature and then was stuck with no spell slots because he had to use 2 for basically an entire session last time. So maybe he'll be more conservative about it, but I also feel like if you have a chance to banish a boss, you would want to try to take that chance. But if he does that, he would just take all the damage and then go invisible, I guess. And run away. magic resistance could help a little bit. So what do we like for his entourage? We could use the thugs. Tempted just to use thugs and what is this? This is a spy, I think. I think I used the crushing wave reaver token, but the spy stat block is actually a pretty good like upgraded bandit to me. Cunning action, sneak attack. 2 attacks. They've got some range. I think that works. Comes back at the end of the... Oh, it don't come back at the end of the minute. Really? Is it because it's from a different plane? That would be bad. Although that may give me a good excuse for having him escape, right? Maybe he comes back some other way. Maybe Tentrix can summon him back. But that would also be a pretty shitty fight if, like, the captain left, got banished, and then all the crew is like, crap. That's pretty demoralizing. Dang. Figure out how many people I want here. So the party can obviously... I'm trying to figure out if I have Callus, like, here, and then the party is all invited to sit with him, so they'll be like, this table will be full. Obviously put the boss, like, the farthest possible point. And then a bunch of creatures in the middle of them. But intersperse, like, neutral folks... In fact, I could even have, you know, like just orcs and lizard folk stat blocks here, but not even include them as hostile, which would be interesting for the party to deal with. Ban banishment. It's right there in the name. Can't spell banishment without ban. That's actually probably another DM Roundtable topic, Jason. Is most bannable spells, most ban-worthy spells, probably a better way of saying that. Top 5 most ban-worthy spells, like they're just such a pain in the ass for players to work with. I mean, it might be a Gith. It probably is. Actually, I could see... It looks like a half Gith, half orc, which is a cool concept for a character. This art, by the way, is from Call from the Deep, because they don't have access to the official Monster Manual creatures. So if I dragged something from Call from the Deep that had art, which is cool that they provided it. Actually, I don't know if Call from the Deep provided that or if Roll20 did that, to tell you the truth. I probably Call from the Deep did that because I know whenever I did a Roll20 official conversion at one point, I worked with the designer to put art in, and it had to be all like public domain stuff or stuff that you know acquired the rights to and everything else. They couldn't use anything from official D&D source books, and the reason you can see official D&D source books is because I do have the Monster Manual on Roll20. So if I just search something from the compendium and then drag it into the game, then it'll just populate with the official token art. So you're kind of seeing a combination of that. The wish spell. How often do players get big enough to actually do the wish spell? That's like some high level shit right there. I mean, I would argue a lot of spells are not... A lot of spells I would not ban like in a video game, but in a game of D&D where combat takes a while and players are only controlling one person, that creates a problem. And yeah, obviously it can create problems for DMs whenever you can just nuke bosses like that. I feel like bosses should just have immunity to certain things, basically. Bosses should just be... And that, which is a weird effect to just say, right? Like, this boss is just immune to banishment. But I guess that's kind of what Legendary Resistance is to an extent. But I feel like almost players would expect bosses to be immune to, like, the real big bullshit. But I also turn around and hate doing that to players. Like I wouldn't want to. The reason I'm making that example is I wouldn't want a monster to banish a player, right? I don't think I would ever do that as a DM, even if it's the most effective thing, and even if the monster had that ability, because it just sucks. You know, that player's like, oh, I'm just taken out of the fight. Somebody save me. Like it sucks. Now, if you had something where the player actually went to another location and they got to do things there, or they could do something to try to work their way back or something, that's different. But if they're just like, nope, your turn is skipped, like, okay, I guess I'll save for another 40 minutes until it's my turn again, or that's an extreme example, but DMs get to have fun too. Hopefully, occasionally, maybe. Looking through the list of stuff that's available. After all the crazy style stuff we just had, this will be a normal. What is the Gladiator? Gladiator's CR5. Gladiator's like the stat block of a pirate captain. That's probably too high. I'm kind of feeling the Wereshark. What do we feel about the Wereshark for the one, like, kind of first mate, like the higher? I want the pirate every pirate captain encounter should be the pirate lord as the boss, then a first mate as like a mini boss, and then a bunch of minion stat blocks. Although I'm also tempted to just throw an ogre in here because that would make things fun. But Wereshark seems fun. I don't know what else to use a Wereshark for, and it's here. It's burning a hole in my pocket. It's not that strong. It has technically damage immunity, but everybody's got magic weapons. I don't think that really comes up. Pretty low AC, hit points. We can jack up its hit points if we want to. It has a chance to give somebody Wereshark lycanthropy, which could be interesting. I would really like to play with having a player cursed with some kind of lycanthropy. I don't think the DMG does a good job of... The DMG, I feel like, or maybe it's the Monster Manual, whichever one has the information, makes it sound like it's like a straight up buff. Like, oh, you just have these power, like the like in Skyrim, right? Where you're like, oh yeah, of course, why would I not be a werewolf? I can just turn into a werewolf. I think that's how it worked. And it's not like I have to like get burned by the sun or something. So I'm just, I have like this super powerful move. I'm like a druid. But that shouldn't be the case. I feel like it should be like, no, you actually have to roll like saves or lose yourself. I'd do it more like Frey in our last campaign, where it's like a dangerous thing where somebody can, you know, turn into this monstrous creature. A caster with Dispel Magic to protect the captain. Oh man. Do we think another spellcaster? I almost never think about that to give my side like defensive spells to worry about, or counterspell. We have not seen counterspell used hardly at all in my campaigns lately. So Scummer has I guess we could use Lizard Folk, although gosh, we've seen them a ton lately. But what else is there that would be kind of a like Orc, Lizard Folk? I'm already going to use Yuan Ti with the Spirit Naga Captain, so I don't need any there. The Veteran Stat Block. Veteran Stat Block CR3. Pretty high EC. It's a triple attacker. Reflavor these guys too. Several were creatures in here. I guess that's, yeah, Monster Manual has all the standard ones. Were-rat, were-boar, were-bear, and werewolf. Counterspell is probably a bannable spell. I haven't... There was like, I think one campaign we saw a counterspell be used quite a bit. And really not since then, I think, because we all kind of thought it was a pain in the ass. But that one could very well be bannable. Because, again, it's just like, do you use it against the players? Well, that kind of sucks for the player. The player uses it against you. Well, that sucks. It's just a, nope, you lost your turn. Like, oh, okay. I guess that's where I'm really getting with the spells. Anything that's like, nope, you lost your turn, is a huge bummer. But I still, I still do that to players. I still stun them. I still cast confusion. Like I'm guilty of doing it as a DM. But I've also tried to balance that by not letting them not have that status effect affect them for like more than one turn. That's where I think it gets really shitty. Unexcusably shitty in my experiences when somebody's like, oh, I'm stun locked now for the rest of this battle. That the one with like the short range. I think I might do a Minotaur. The Minotaur, bartender, and owner. We'll just use that whole Skog thing as here. So we'll call this place the Keel Hall. Is that right? This is the actual, yeah, port. Yeah, in fact, I'm just pretty much copying what Skog is for Mintarn. A rough and tumble port that welcomes pirates of every stripe and actively discourages those who threaten the flow of grog and coin. Lawless Island is a good place to fill a ship with scurvy sea dogs who value plunder over all else. Life is cheap in its alleys and ale-soaked taverns. Yeah. Infamous tavern along the wharf. The Keel Hall is the longest running. Cards, dice, companions of the hour, illicit substances, and questionable deals. Keel Hall is run by Cleft, a Minotaur, so named because of the axe scar that runs down his snout, splits his top lip. Cleft served Sea King Tentrix and still has strong ties to the captain. If he overhears adventurers asking questions about Tentrix, he sends words to the Sea King preparing for their arrival. Because I think when the players arrive in the Lanthurs, they'll probably go to Skog first, because that's like the port city. But by giving them a device from the Pirate Lord captains, they don't have to go there. They could just go right to Tentrix's floating lair. So I think we can just pick up this whole Skog idea and put it in Mintarn. And then it'll be still a very rough and tumble, kind of lawless area that's known for pirates, and everybody just kind of leaves it alone because there's just too many pirates there to deal with, and not any one of the city states just want to bother with it, I guess. But I will need to bring a proper Minotaur token on here. Minotaur. Have any good other tokens? Minotaur Berserker, Half Black Dragon Minotaur, a Minotaur Archaeologist in Book of Many Things. That's cute. It's not going to work for, look at all these Minotaurs. They're everywhere. It is not the kind of Minotaur I need to run a pirate tavern, though. There's someone. Minotaur Savage. I guess it doesn't actually show me the token very well. That's not what I want, though. Minotaur Labyrinth Keeper. That's kind of cool. Use that guy. I don't really care about the stat block because I'm just going to make him a normal Minotaur. Trying to see the token art. I guess that could work. Alright, let's just make you a normal Minotaur. It's fine. You'll be the bartender. And you'll be the one where it's probably like they blackmailed him or something. $76 hit points on the average Minotaur. Damn. That's pretty beefy. I'll get rid of the goblin. Scummer. I guess we just add a lot of spies and thugs. Is that too boring to fight spies and thugs? Should I gussy this up with more like, I mean, I feel like we fought a bunch of lizards. I feel like it'd be cliche if like all of the more monster creatures were the ones who were fighting the players. But I did mention that was also Tentrix's MO, was getting a bunch of kind of uniting the non-human creatures as pirates. A half ogre. I could use 2 of them instead of 1 ogre. They're just kind of shittier thugs. Well, they can do more damage, I guess. AoE spell is going to reign supreme here. I feel like well, again, I could just use the token for whatever. The ogre token looks better as a more piratey thing, but I could always change that to a half ogre if I wanted to. I do want to put you on T with the Spirit Naga, so I don't want to use any of those here. Noble stat block is too weak. Well, Tentrix does have a, I think it's a, is it a homunculus named Filch or something? So he's kind of got the parrot thing going on. Ocean of fire breathing. That's actually a fun idea. Just giving creatures like some kind of items or something. I was just thinking that with Scummer too, giving like 1 extra, like I could flavor a pistol as a wand of magic missiles or something. Or really maybe like a scorching ray. I'm trying to think what would a good. Oh, that's kind of what he already does with his basic attack. But yeah, I could literally just reflavor a magic item or make it a magic item where he's got something that he's using against the players in a fun way. But anytime you got to give somebody, give a creature a magic item, you have to prepare for the players to, acquire said item. Are Minotaurs supposed to be large or are they medium? Oh, they are large. Okay. They're going to want that hat. It is a pretty glorious hat, isn't it? This is the way you do tokens, by the way. You make them like big on the head and you pop them out of the token. That looks way better than like whoever did the Cobalt Press tokens. Not so much a fan of these or the Tome of Beasts one. I'm also not a fan of the Tome of Beasts ones where they try to like fit the entire creature into the token and it looks not very good, especially if the token is only like medium size. Excellent South Park reference. Free hat. Give that man a baby. Why can I still remember these episodes that are only like 20 years old? I was protecting myself. When too many babies get together like that, they're vicious. God, it exists at the periphery of my memory. Could throw a troll in there? Nah, troll's probably too much. What a fucked up token that is. Jeez. Yeah, so one of my other complaints, I guess, is that the pirate captains didn't come with their own crew. They're cool ideas, although I wish they were more custom stat blocks. It turns out he's just a green slot with a hat, which is pretty cool. And like the fake hair thing going on, which is also kind of amazing. Yeah, we could make his hat magical. I guess we could do something with that. Maybe gives him some kind of protection or something, or ups his charisma. Advantage on charisma saves. That would help me against banishment. The hat gives him advantage on charisma. And I guess what I need to do is back off on attunement stuff, although that's also the way that 5e is balanced. So everything's got to be attunable. This guy does have a token. Unfortunately, it is the default word token. That's not gonna help me. Okay, well, let's turn somebody into, we can fix this. We can fix this. We go to, it's gotta be a rollable table. Where shark? Click on that. And then we need to add we could just add a thug token because it's already there. That would probably be, because unfortunately you have to add it from your art gallery to make it work. I don't have any good random people tokens in here. I can scroll through all the things I've ever uploaded, which is not really that many. I've already gotten into back to Call from the Deep. Or, God, Rime of the Frost Maiden. So I'd have to look up like where I got these tokens from. What a pain in the butt. Do I have something in my folders I can use? I feel like I would have grabbed all the tokens by now. So Saltmarsh tokens. There's the Ned token, but I don't think I can get away with using that one again. I haven't actually used too many tokens. Let's go back to Rime and look up tokens. Maybe somebody there. Or maybe go back to Tomb. So it's really been a while. I'm looking at my folder so you can't actually see anything. There. Do I not have tokens? There we go. PC pictures, tokens. Yeah, I could just use one of these random ones. I feel like some of these are people we never even really used. Which means there should be in here somewhere if I scroll down far enough. Go all the way to Tomb of Annihilation. Now we're at the beginning of Rime. Ugh. Alright, let's grab... Let's just use the... No, I don't use the thug. That'll be too confusing for me. I don't know why I have to make this so difficult. The bad thing is I can't grab like one of these tokens. I have to grab it from here because I have to add it like this. And you have to add it from the art gallery. You know what? We may not even have to transform because if we're going to do the surprise round, then it's not even fucking matter. I'm just going to make that a 12. I don't care about changing its AC. Yeah, so if we're just going to not show this map until the combat started, then he's going to just be in shark form. I know. They used to not have folders. I guess, is this something new they added? It used to be just a giant fucking list like this. I kind of need the Were Shark to be closer to the players. I don't think the Were Shark does not have range attacks. He can just be among random people too. Just turn into a Were Shark. So, thug. Probably have at least 4 thugs. If we've got Scummer, 4 thugs. Pasting, there we go. We've got 3 spies. The Wereshark. Maybe we'll just keep the orcs over here. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, you could do that. Well, I think the specific problem, and maybe I don't have, maybe I'm an idiot, but to do the rollable table part specifically, you have to drag them from the art gallery and not from the map or the journal or the compendium. It literally has to come from the art gallery. I think that's how I've always had to do it. So it has to appear in this section in order to add it as a rollable token thing to do the that part where you can right click on a token and have it change tokens out, which is a stupid pain in the butt. Yeah, I might change these guys to half ogres. But I want to use this token, so why don't we make you a half ogre. And you've got more like 30 hit points. There we go. Still large and intimidating, but we can give him more hit points also. One, two. Oops, that's too many of those guys. All right, starting to be. I don't want it to be all bad guys, but something like that. We can put some guys at the bar too. I just realized. These poor orcs are going to be the bystanders. My random people stat block tokens. And yes, it's the same tavern as I used before. Same map, I guess. So we could give him like 150 hit points without even breaking a sweat, since he's got a buttload. I'll think about what kind of magic items, if at all, we want to give him, but that would be a fun way to customize his stat block a little bit over that of a normal green slot. Because otherwise the stat block is just a green slot. So right now we've got Captain Scummer, the green slot, CR8. Wereshark, CR3. Which can be a named first mate. We can raise his hit points up. A half ogre. Get what CR you were. CR1. And then 4 thugs. Although I've got 5 on the map right now. Crap. Get rid of you. 4 thugs. 3 spies. That's probably a good battle for the players, right? That does that feel like a good enough brawl? I mean, they're gonna be level 9. It's gonna be pretty damn big. But I would like to pace this to where they're not just constantly long resting after all of these, right? A big part of whenever I do any game that involves traveling across the world, there's no automatic long rests. That gets weird if they're on a ship. Because that should be a safe place, right? So the other one option is I do let them long rest constantly between encounters because they're just going to be back on their ship. This is the only one that's probably, well, there'll be another one that's just one encounter, which is the one they do at sea. Or I try and say no automatic long rests except when I say so, and that'll be when they make it to a certain maybe port section or something. Hopefully between when they do all these pirate lords and the other one, because these would be a little bit trivialized if they're able to long rest too frequently, I guess. I don't want to necessarily just jack up the difficulty just to try to reach that threshold of, oh shit, they're long resting all the time. Although their last 2 quest arcs, the Styes and the Sahuagin Stronghold, was a testament to the opposite of that, which is how far and long they had to go before getting a long rest. Well, no, the Styes, they did get a long rest halfway through, didn't they? Not even halfway through. They got it towards the end. They had the whole warehouse thing and then long rested, and then that. I guess they just had big encounters, so I don't know. I guess you can make the argument either way. I'll have to think about it. I'll have to remember what I've established previously when it comes to long rests and travel, and especially being on the ships. But I don't see needing much more than this, and it feels like it would be a little fakey for him to even bring more than this to be able to ambush people at a location. Like I said, you wouldn't be able to bring a whole army and just be like your hit squad. And he's already got, what, 4 thugs, 3 spies. That's 7, 8 half ogre, and 9 the wereshark, and Scummer makes 10 total creatures. That feels like enough, I think. Maybe create a pretty full tavern section here. And the players will be right there at this spot. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that as being kind of a surprise to the players. Again, we'll do the level up. We'll do the, go to Mintarn, have Captain Callus have a pretty lengthy scene where he explains, the update to the Black Armada and the Pirate Lords. I found somebody did some really cool, like, black and white sketch, I guess drawings, but they're like the ones that are in, like, it's like this drawing, but a black and white version of it. I don't know how they did that, but I'll have that be like what Callus gives them, so they'll even get some like pictures of these captains and actually be told of the locations that he doesn't know exactly where they are, but just knows, hey, check out these are the 2 top locations that I've heard that the Black Armada are targeting. And he'll even warn that the fact that the Black Armada is also targeting the player characters, because I do love it when in RPGs, the PCs make it to a certain notoriety level and they're actively being hunted by the villains, because now they made a name for themselves with stopping the villains' plans. And that will certainly be a wonderful time for Scummer to then, reveal himself with a fireball or whatever he does, and they do a big ambush attack and be like, yeah, this is them hunting you down. And then later, after they've made it probably to both of those 2 other locations in Reno and the Iron Hand Cairn, once they're on their way towards the Nelanthers, that's when the 4th pirate captain will hunt them down via ship, and we'll do a big ship-to-ship battle, which will probably be the Spirit Naga as the one who attacks him there, because then we can do a bunch of cool UNT stuff with the ship. Cool. All right, I think that's going to do it for me, folks. Like I mentioned, this is going to be a weird couple weeks, 1 week, I guess, where I will not be available the rest of the week for streaming purposes. So this is all you get from me this week. And then next week, I'm also not going to be available until probably Friday. So that's a pretty big gap of non-streaming stuff. But you'll see the DM Roundtable that we did last week will come up this week. And then we've got a patron game this week that will go up next week. So I will not leave you completely alone. But for now, I must away. So that'll do it for this week's Crafting the Deep. Enjoy the content. Please check out patreon.com/Rogue Watson. Shouts to Platinum patrons Joe, Will, Thomas, Stan, Brennan, Genocider, Eclectic Roleplayer, Christopher, Corey, Big Nut, John F, John L, Tyler, Nathan, Camp Crystal, Counselor, Andrew, Daryl, the Reldrin, Stephanie, Patrick, Jason, Ismail, Amit, Lumpy Spud, Sharni, David, Warden, Harold, Sam, and Eudaimonia LLC. And gold patrons RPG, Papergraphs, Pretty Boy, and Yuma, Lizard Lounge, Sam, Drome, Nathan, Fast Like a Tortoise, Scott, Rufus, Carolyn, Jerry, Glenn, Marcus, and Mark. Thank you all very much for your support. I will see you When I see you. A while.